maybe you wanted to leave the marriage and you're like, yes, I get to live my best life now. And that may be true, but your best life can't be as expensive as it used to be, at least while you're transitioning, right? So don't spend the money you don't have.
Maybe it's now not the time to go get that, brand new car lease that's, pushing on $1,000.
Right. Or that fabulous apartment in that fabulous area that you've always wanted to live in, but you couldn't afford while you're married. But you know what? I'm just going to go for it now.
Getting an interior designer in to help, decorate it.
Right. So just going back to prior episodes, figure out what you make from your paycheck and stay within those boundaries, right? Do not spend beyond that. Even if you get this settlement and you're like, oh God, I got all this money now. Yes. No.
It's got to last a period of time. Yeah. It's not just like, it's
this
not going to keep...
This is your retirement. This is your future retirement. This is, this is not to spend in the next year to live your fabulous life now that you're out of this marriage.
You're probably giving up another asset or some part of an asset maybe.
Right.
Or ownership in an asset.
I mean, the reality is huge percentage of people that get divorced have to adjust their lifestyle downwards, at least for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Right.
We've all heard about Joe jumping houses, multiple times.
Hopscotching and Goldilocksing homes, right? As I figured out how much I could, how much I could afford to live and really,
Yeah, look, I'm sure there's cases out there where someone has been able to improve their lifestyle. Maybe they're frugal or something like that. But I think for the majority of people, it's a change of expectations and downwards. What you have to do.
And again, it's a transition. It's a transition. Accept and be realistic that your lifestyle right after divorce is going to be different and less instead of more.
Yeah. So we've just kind of spoken about don't put off financial planning too, which kind of then transitions to our last point that we want to drive home.
Don't be in denial, right? You got to do that financial planning so that you could see what you can afford, right?
Yeah.
So if you can't figure it out yourself, like you're not sure what you make after, and this is okay. Like you're not sure what you earn versus what you can spend, hire someone.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Seek that professional guidance so that you can make sure that, you've got a clear picture and that you can help avoid these mistakes as well.
Right. So even if you're going to do it yourself, like do Hello Divorce, you're like, this is simple, cut and dry. I'm going to do it myself. You can still hire a CDFA for an hour and just launch your questions for an hour. Just be very prepared and you could be efficient.
Yeah.
I mean, I did that with a consulting attorney. So I went through mediation, but I did hire a consulting attorney and I peppered her with questions and kept it under 70 minutes. And there was no hello, no small talk because you pay for that minute when you're saying hello. So I just launched into my questions.
And look, we're always going to seek advice and guidance from friends and family, but sometimes they're not the best people to be giving that advice. So if you're working, or you should probably be seeking a professional's help and guidance through this. And if these professionals are telling you something
that you don't want to hear,
you need to stop and listen because they're telling you it for a reason. It's most likely backed up with numbers with no emotion attached to it.
Yeah. And you know what? If you don't trust it, you're like, this attorney's not looking out for my best interest. That's fine. Seek a second opinion. And if it's the same numbers, then maybe you need to listen and stop getting second opinions, right?
Swallow your pride and
And I understand. Sometimes people hire the wrong lawyer, wrong personality, someone they feel like is not looking out for their best interest. Cut the losses and move on to somebody else. But if you get the same advice delivered in a different way,
listen.
You got to listen.